Alright, back here with some more budget magic. Still playing mono white blink control. Guess this hand is acceptable. Wouldn't mind having another land. It's really dependent on the matchup. If we're in a matchup where Day of Judgment is good, then this hand should be pretty sweet. So we can draw one land into Pilgrim's Eye, into Wrath. But if we're up against something where Day of Judgment isn't good, might have a hard go of it. So basic island could be Merfolk, could be Splinter Twin. Well, looking like Merfolk. And I think we are just going to dismember right now. Could have waited, try to get more value out of our Day of Judgment, but I think it's worth it just to get the Lord off the board in case our opponent has some sort of counter. So we get to Pilgrim's Eye here, get a Plains, and feeling like we're in decent shape. We're actually not that far away from Emeria and Sun Titan. I mean, sort of far, but we can Flicker Wisp our Pilgrim's Eye potentially. Flicker Wisp is also pretty key against Merfolk, because when they enchant our land to make it an island with Spreading Seas, we can, for example, we can blink the island, get rid of the Spreading Seas, and that turns off all the island walk abilities that the deck plays. Interesting. Well, I guess we attack with Pilgrim's Eye. I would like to blink the Pilgrim's Eye and get another land. I think we can do that. Because we can always risky. It's safest just to get rid of the Spreading Seas. But another land guarantees we'll be able to Sun Titan on time. We're gonna get rid of Spreading Seas. Take the less risky route. I think we can win this matchup. We have good odds of drawing another land and still being able to play Sun Titan. So I don't think we really need to take unnecessary risk. Especially having the O-Ring to potentially kill the next Lord our opponent plays. Like this Reedree, for example. So now we can just O-Ring the Reedree. And a path. Jeez, drawing it all. Yeah, so we'll just O-Ring this Reedree. Attack for 4 in the air. And the other thing about Sun Titan is at the moment we don't really have anything to get back with it, so it's not all that exciting. It'd be nice to draw like a Mortipod, which would allow us to sack our Pilgrim's Eye or our Flicker Wisp to get back with Sun Titan. I feel like we're in decent shape. Our opponent might be trying to set up for... Well, that's fine. Might be trying to set up for a Master... I'm getting so confused. I was going to say Master of Tides. I'm confusing Master of Pearl Tide and Harbinger of Tides. Anyway, Harbinger of Tides bounces our Flicker Wisp, which is acceptable. Then our opponent's going to play a Master of Pearl Trident, which we will path to exile. Might as well do it right now in case we draw a 2-drop. We'll be able to play Flicker Wisp and the 2-drop. Draw Mistfall Plains. Also not bad. So we get to Flicker Wisp, blinking our Pilgrim's Eye. Gets us another Plains at the end of our turn. We'll play this Mistfall Plains. So we are one land short of getting Emeria online, and that should be enough for us to win. Especially considering we have the Day of Judgment. So if our opponent ever starts doing anything too threatening, we can Day of Judgment away everything and just get all of our stuff back with our Emeria. Still don't have anything in our graveyard, so we're definitely going to block if we have the option. Silvergill Adept, that's the card I was thinking of, Master of Waves. Silvergill Adept reveals Master of Waves. If our opponent just plays Master of Waves, I think we just Day of Judgment away everything after attacking, and then start going on the Sun Titan plan. Yep, there's the Master. Makes a bunch of elementals, but they don't really matter. So now we'll definitely block the Harbinger with Flicker Wisp, since our plan is to Day of Judgment anyway. And then if we draw another Plains, we are in business. Either way, the deck is kind of built around the chain of Sun Titan, Flicker Wisp, and Pilgrim's Eye or something else. That's one of the big combos or synergies in the deck. So we'll block the Harbinger here. No reason not to. And I think it's safest... Actually... Yeah, I think it's safest. We'll just Day of Judgment here. Actually, we could... do we want to be risky? We could Flicker Wisp, give our opponent back the Lord. No, that doesn't do anything. We could Flicker Wisp our Pilgrim's Eye. Day of Judgment, get back Pilgrim's Eye for another Plains. Let's just Day of Judgment. We'll save the Flicker Wisp. I don't think there's really any reason to just cast Flicker Wisp right now. I mean, it's a flying threat. Yeah. I guess we'll cast it. Let's just block the Mud Vault if our opponent attacks. And we have another one that we're going to get back in the graveyard anyway, so I guess it's not bad to have a 3-power attacker or a blocker. Opponent suits up the Mud Vault. So I think we're just going to Ether Vial. Okay, our opponent's out of cards. So I think we pretty clearly just block here. Our opponent doesn't even attack. Alright. Well, it's over anyway. I don't think they can beat this combo. So we will attack with Flicker Wisp. Go through our nice little chain with Sun Titan post-combat. Where we can play Sun Titan. Gets back Flicker Wisp. Flicker the Sun Titan. Which will come back in at our end step and get us back our Pilgrim's Eye, which gets us our 7th land and turns on Emeria, and we basically just win. So against Merfolk, I kind of want the other Day of Judgment. Possibly more Dismembers. Basically just need to be able to kill their lords. What do we not want? O-Ring is nice just because it can hit a Ether Vial. I guess we can go down 1 O-Ring, go down to 2, and go down 1 Blade Splicer. Actually, maybe we shouldn't go down an O-Ring. Maybe we leave the O-Rings over the 2nd Dismember just because it can also hit a Spreading Seas, which actually is really problematic. If our opponent can make all their creatures unblockable with Spreading Seas, it's one of their best ways of winning. Well, this isn't keepable. 1 land, and the 1 land doesn't even make white mana, so that's better-ish. Still not sure it's great. We need a land, and we need our stuff not to get countered. Well, there's Emeria, so we'll lead on that. That is land. So now we can Wall of Omens, hopefully flicker Wall of Omens, and draw a couple cards. And have the O-Ring to kill the first lord that we have to deal with. Silvergill Adept revealing a Reejerey. Another Plains is fine. Working our way up towards our Sun Titan. So we get to draw a card here with our Wall of Omens. Ooh. Day of Judgment might be really good here. If we can resolve it, it should be excellent. Question is, can we find the window to resolve it? We do have Ghost Quarters to deal with Mudavault. There's the Reejerey. Now we have two options. We can O-Ring the Reejerey. Well, three actually, now that we do Pilgrim's Eye. Or we can Flicker Wisp. Or we can Pilgrim's Eye. I think we will just go with O-Ring. I think that's safest. So our opponent could potentially play a couple of Merfolk and get in, tap down our creatures and get in for a lot of damage next turn. We'd like to keep our life total as high as possible because we win the long game. And considering we're playing Merfolk, this Day of Judgment is going to be good whenever we resolve it. Master of the Pearl Trident. Okay. So now our opponent can turn on a Mudavault and attack for 3. And that might be enough to... Is that enough to Day of Judgment? The good news is our opponent is definitely motivated to keep tapping out one way or another. Either tapping out to attack with Mudavaults or to cast things. Oh, and we draw Dismember? Well, that makes our choice a lot easier. Since we drew a Dismember, we can play the Plains. We can... Ooh, tough choice between Flicker Wisp, Wall of Omens, and Pilgrim's Eye. I think we'll go with the Flicker Wisp plan. Flicker Wisp, the Wall of Omens. That leaves us some blockers. And then we have the Dismember to use on our opponent's turn. And hopefully we just draw a land here off of the Wall of Omens. And it is a Plains, so that's good. Almost to Sun Titan territory. Since we haven't drawn any Ghost Quarters, I think I most want to hit a Mudavault with this Dismember. Even over the Lord. That changes things. Now I guess we need to Dismember the Lord. And our opponent has a counter? They have a Dispel. Oh, that's bad. Okay. So we're going to take a bunch of damage here because of that Seize Claim. Like 6. Let's see what we draw here. If we don't draw removal, we might just have to Day of Judgment. Plains. Alright. Well, I guess our plan is to attack with Flicker Wisp. Day of Judgment away everything, which unfortunately leaves the Mudavaults active. So our opponent can attack with both Mudavaults and put us to 3. And then if they have another 2-mana Lord, they can kill us next turn. Even though we can go through a nice iteration of our Sun Titan loop. We'll see. They might be tempted to try to resolve something. Like a Master. Okay. So, now we take 3. And we're not just dead, though. Because we can actually Flicker Wisp the Seize Claimed land. Which might keep us alive. We also have O-Ring. Well, I think we still need to go with Sun Titan. Need to Sun Titan. Get back Flicker Wisp. And flicker our Plains here to get rid of the Seize Claim. And see what our opponent has. Our opponent's creatures are no longer unblockable due to island block, which gives us a shot. We will see if they... How do they kill us here? Getting rid of our creatures is a good way. Looks like this is a Silver Adept, though. Revealing Harbinger of Tides. We're kind of close to stabilizing. Another removal spell would be nice, just because our opponent could draw another enchantment to give Island Walk, and then we're kind of in trouble. Ether Vial isn't super threatening. Well, I think our plan here is to attack with Sun Titan to get back our Wall of Omens. That's step one. See what we draw. A Path, not a Dismember at this point. A Path would be good. Something to gain some life would be good. But we get back the Wall of Omens. Draw Plains, which is actually fine. Hit our opponent for 6. Then we can Oblivion Ring the Master. So now our opponent needs a card that grants Island Walk and a card that makes our land an island. Play a Plains, play a Pilgrim's Eye to search out another Plains. Yeah, Lone Missionary would be nice. I wouldn't mind Lone Missionary or removal. We are to the point of having an active Emeria starting, not next turn, but the turn after. But we don't have any way of putting things in our graveyard. So a Mortar Pod would also be pretty excellent. That would let us start shooting down some things and getting those things back. And that does it. Opponent scoops it up. Sweet. This deck is killing it. I'm pretty happy. And it's actually really fun. Kind of plays on a different axis than a lot of decks. So, alright, I'll be back with another.